Hey everybody, welcome back to the studio. Well, I've been doing a series about answering some of the questions I see online and trying to fight some of these bizarre answers that people get. And this question is a huge one. I've addressed it in part in other videos in the past, but I just can't ignore it because it's so dominant out there on forums, on Facebook. It's constantly coming up. And again, the answers are horrible. So let's get into it. This may be a longer video. I'm going to try to keep it short, but we'll see. What's the question? Well, the question's a pretty simple one, and it comes from photographers, whether they shoot weddings or families, whether they shoot nature and wildlife or commercial, whatever it is they shoot. And that is, I'm not making enough money. I'm not booking enough clients. I'm not. And they actually are honest and they need help. But the responses that they get are so bizarre. And it's like previous videos. Some of the top responses are, and I'm not going to go through it to make it really quick, so with the cards and everything. So some of the top responses, you need to shoot mirrorless. You need to shoot with professional cameras, professional lenses. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to charge more. You need to charge less. You need to give more. You need to give less. You need to... Some of them have bases behind them, but most of them, I think, are put out there by people who don't have the answer or who are trying to inflate their own egos by saying, well, I make a ton of money and I'm doing great because I do what I think is right, and it just, the answers are useless. So let's get into how to make some better money in photography. Now, there's specific sites out there for marketing and for advertising and for building your business plan and all of that. And some of them are good, but most of them are really flaky. Most of them go off on an area that really doesn't have a lot of real day experience. It's a lot of feel-good stuff. So let's nail it down to some ideas that hopefully will help you in your business. Now, let's take a little flashback to the past. Years past, if you wanted a professional portrait, you went to a professional photographer. Well, if you wanted just about any portrait, you went to a professional photographer. Cameras were not in everybody's pocket. Cameras were not in everybody's homes. So you went to a photo studio. They weren't the greatest places to go to. Photographers were generally not the friendliest people. They were not the most helpful people. They told you to sit. They told you to bend this way, do this, do that. They took your picture. They sold you something, and that was it. There wasn't a lot of experience with it. There wasn't a lot of, well, to be honest, there wasn't a lot of enjoyment to it. When I started, that's one of the biggest complaints I heard. People came to me because they enjoyed the pictures when I took the pictures. They enjoyed the experience. Even though they had gone to some of the bigger studios in town, they didn't like them. They had bad memories of them when they were kids, when they were growing up, and they didn't want that experience now or for their family. So we have to, as photographers, we have to deliver a good experience and a good product. They cannot be separate. You cannot sell just the experience and not sell a quality product. You cannot sell an amazing product and a bad experience. You have to have them combined. They have to be together. If they're not, you're going to be in trouble. So let's cover off some things. First thing, the experience. You really have to make taking pictures an enjoyable experience. Having the kids start to bawl and having the parents screaming at the kids and having the photographer telling the parents that the kids had to, those days are gone. People don't want that. Well, they never did want that, but it's even gotten less now. When everybody's a photographer, when there's like 500 photographers a day that are starting to, oh, I can start a business because I took a good picture, and you start seeing them posted everywhere, you really have to separate yourself. And if you're delivering a bad experience, you're not going to get the clients, the referrals, and the repeat customers to come back to you. So you need to give a good experience. Now, that experience can be many things. When I shot weddings, one of the things I did was I included a free engagement session. Why? Because it was a good experience for the bride and groom. I got to know them. They got to know how I took pictures, and they got some product from it. They were happy. They loved it. They thought it was great. After the wedding, the day of the wedding, I would deliver a print to them. So at the reception, when they showed up, there would be a print waiting for them at the head table that I had shot that day. Now, was it a challenge to do? Yep. Was it some days almost impossible to get there in time? Yep. But I got a lot of business from that because they liked that experience. When they came into my studio, I have a huge washroom here. It's a bride-size washroom. So if I was having a consult and the bride and groom came in and the bride excused herself to use the washroom, I always got responses from the bride when she came back. Wow, that's an amazingly huge washroom. That is wonderful. I can see myself in there with my big dress on and having to move around, and it'll be a good experience. And they liked that. I had water for them. I had treats for them. I had snacks. I had this. I had that. People like that experience. So as a photographer, we have to start making it more of an experience when we take pictures. And that extends over to the nature and wildlife as well. I know a lot of people who take some really good pictures in nature and wildlife. I also know a lot of people who don't sell much from it. Why? Because everybody is selling a picture. Some people are selling an 8x10, 11x14, 16x20 for like $5, $10. And it's not making them any money. And they're not selling anything because there's so many people out there selling the same products. It makes no sense in just trying to market the picture. You need to market an experience. Tell the person about the picture. Tell what you felt when you were photographing that wolf. Tell how the weather felt. Tell about the snow. Tell about when the wolf howled. Tell about that. Put that into the picture. Make it all an experience. You will sell more by doing that than you will of just trying to sell a chunk of paper. Now, if you give your client, whether it be a studio client or nature and wildlife client, a good experience, the next thing that you're going to have to address is the price. Now, everybody's listening to this is either going one of two ways. They're going, raise your prices, or they're going, drop your prices. Well, come on, think about it. If you're doing a wedding for, let's say, $3,000, and I'm just picking that out of the blue. I'm not saying that's a good price or a bad price. But if you're doing it for $3,000, even at that price, if that's the price that you are at, you've already lost the people who cannot pay that much money. If you raise your price to $5,000, you're going to lose more customers. Now, I'm not saying don't raise your price, but I'm saying understand, when you raise your price, you're going to lose some clients. Likewise, you can lower your price, but here's the problem. You'll lower your price, you'll get yourself more clients, but you're going to end up working a lot harder to make the money that you need to make. As an example, a family photographer who does family pictures. Let's say they're charging $200 for a family picture, and they need to make a minimum of $40,000 a year to pay their bills. Well, guess what? That's 200 sessions that they're going to have to do just to make the $40,000. And that's a bare bones make the $40,000. That's like $40,000 on the nose, not $40,000 and this and that. So you got to do 200 sessions at $200. Well, guess what? There's 52 weeks in a year. If you do 5 sessions a week, you barely made it, if you can do 5 sessions a week. But do you know how hard it is to do 5 family sessions a week? People go away on vacation. The weather's not nice. People are busy. You won't be able to do it. So if you make $400 per family session, then you have to do less. You only have to do 100. So what happens if you make $1,000 per family session? Well, guess what? If you need to make $40,000, you only have to do 40 family sessions. That's great. But understand that as you raise your prices, you have to do less work, but you're going to lose some of the clients. So you got to weigh all of this stuff. Nature and wildlife pictures, same thing. I know people who are out there right now. There's some shows in Lethbridge, craft shows, and they're selling nature and wildlife prints, a 16x20 picture for $10. Well, guess what? It costs them $10 to get that picture. They're not making anything. They're not even making a penny profit off of it. Why are they doing it? Because they think that if they sell some, that somebody will come back and order some more and bigger ones, and they'll make some more money. And Bad business plan, people, bad. So whether you're charging a lot, you're charging a little, whether you're giving your work away, sit down and really think about where you're at. Think about your client. Think about what you want to make. Do you want to work 5 days a week for 52 weeks a year and barely scrape by? Do you want to work 2 days a week for 20 weeks out of the year and make a ton of money? And then adjust your prices accordingly. But make sure you're giving them a good product at the same time, because you cannot give an experience that the bride and groom or the client loves. You cannot give them a price that they like and then deliver a horrible product. And that's the number 3 thing that people forget. You can deliver the best experience in the world at the best price and deliver garbage, and you won't get customers. Just doesn't happen. You can deliver the best product in the world at phenomenally low prices and treat everybody like garbage, and you won't get customers. So you have to have them all balanced out. Nobody in the history of me taking pictures has booked me because of the equipment I've used. Nobody has booked me because I use Adobe Photoshop to edit my pictures. Nobody has ever booked me because of the vehicle I drive or the props I have in my studio or the studio lights. Nobody's ever bought a nature and wildlife picture from me because of the printer that it's printed on or the paper or the ink. None of that matters to the people. What matters to the people is the experience, the price, and the quality. And if you can put those 3 things together, you will hopefully have a good business. So until next time, get out there, take some pictures, get a good business plan, start selling some stuff, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye now.